Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please join us for the invocation prayers of Srimadbhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriyet Shrotam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavti Neshtiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we are sharing this verse from Canto 5, Chapter 18. The verse number is 12. Hare Krishna. And this is part of the prayers offered by the residents from Jambudvip to the Lord, offered to the Lord. Hare Krishna, Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse 12. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati kinchana sarve guneshtat samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a man devoid of devotion service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept in the practice of mystic yoga, or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Hare Krishna Devi, would you like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, wherein Krishna says, Mama Vaisho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtindriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, and they are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, one's heart becomes purified and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of the devotees. For example, Sri Pandit Haridas is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, and grave. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. His endeavors were very pleasing. He was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna, and when one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Shri Krishna's Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in body of a Vaishnava and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. Krishdas Kaviraj lists the following 26 qualities, good qualities of a Vaishnava. 1. He is very kind to everyone. 2. He does not take anyone his enemy. He does not make anyone his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. He is silent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Devi. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us in reciting Srila Prabhupada Pranati and seeking blessings from the Acharyas. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So this verse helps us take a much deeper dive into some of the realities of life. And sometimes people who have put very hard work all their lives, they become really shocked when they hear a verse like this. And there are many books written on this, just on this one topic, that how just by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one gets all good qualities. And even though one may have achieved great goals in their life as a karma yogi or as a hat yogi, as they have not developed any attachment, any attraction towards Lord Krishna. So all their life, it is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. So what is important? Here we understand one moment of genuine devotion to Krishna gives what lifetime of good karma cannot give you. What is that? A divine character. So in a world where everyone flaunts qualifications, wealth, education, skills, what truly qualifies a soul before Radha and Krishna? Bhakti, devotion, love, surrender. So in this particular verse, we'll be looking at the acronym Suraha, S-U-R-A-H. S is for surrender. How a soul, when surrender, true virtue begins when one bows before Radha Krishna. And U is, in Surah S-U-R-A-H, U is for unalloyed devotion, not expecting anything in return. It's only a mood of giving, because when we serve Lord Rishikesha, then all our senses are automatically satisfied. So this unalloyed devotion it's bhakti free from motive that transforms the heart. So again, self-oriented motive. The motive is there to please Radha Krishna, not to please oneself, but to Radha Krishna. And R is, when one is engaged in this service, of course, radiance of virtue that appears. Divine qualities blossom naturally from devotion, naturally from the service. And A is abandoning false ego. One gives up the false ego that I am this body. One understands Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas, that I am an eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna. Krishnera Tathashta Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. We are the marginal potency of the Lord, and when we are fully oriented in serving the Lord, then there is a union in purpose, union in action. So that causes abandoning the false ego, and we become situated in our true identity. So that is ego, but not false ego. That's our true self. And H is what is at the heart. H is heart of service. The perfection of bhakti is loving service to Radha Damodar. And this is already explained very nicely by Mother Yashoda. She's a great devotee of the Lord. So in Kartik, in Damodar Mass, happy Kartik to all. This is Damodar Mass going on. And we see Mother Yashoda exemplifying the truth of this verse. Her devotion, not her power, binds Krishna. She is the mother. And mothers sometimes are disciplining their children. But here, Mother Yashoda, she is, with her love, she is binding Lord Krishna. Through infinite strength, Krishna, he becomes tied by the rope of love. That's Damodar Leela. Lord, he bows down in front of his devotee, agrees to be bound while he is unboundable. So again, that's like, he is no boundaries, he is boundless, yet at the same time, he agrees to be bound. Showing that devotion reveals divinity. Showing the divinity that Yashoda didn't conquer Krishna by discipline, but by affection. Akinchana bhakti, pure love without motive. That's why when we every day sing Damodashtakam, when we light up the lamp in front of the Lord, remembering that the Lord is unlimited, we are limited, yet at the same time, unlimited becomes captured by the limited, by the mercy of unlimited, when the limited is engaged in unlimited service for the unlimited. Again, we are limited, but there is no boundary to the service we can offer. So there is no upper limit when it comes to service, no upper limit when it comes to love. So S is surrendered soul, right? We see the example of Amrish Maharaj. He's a Kshatriya, he's a family man. And there on the other hand is Durvasa Muni. He comes on the Ekadashi day, means again, Ekadashi is over, on Dwadashi day, Maharaj Amrish is about to break his fast, and Durvasa Muni comes. Atithi Devo Bhava. So Amrish Maharaj immediately stops and he says, let me, welcome Durvasa Muni. And then he says, please have prasadam. At that time, Durvasa says, let me go and get ready. Let me go and take bath. And so, Amrish Maharaj, he waits. He's waiting, but the Muhurt is passing. So he asks the Brahmanas, what should I do? So Brahmana says, just like the nails, they are alive, but they are dead at the same time. Just as the hair, they are alive and they are dead at the same time. Similarly, water can be used to break the fast, but also not break the fast because you have not eaten anything solid. And Amrish Maharaj, when he performs Ekadashi, means again, he performs Nirjala always. So he agrees to this. This sounds like a very good solution. So he takes a little bit of water just to respect that Lord should not be offended. For the pleasure of the Lord, he accepts little water. Now, when Durvasa Muni comes with his mystic power, he realizes, oh, Amrish, King Amrish, he has broken his fast. How he broke his fast, he didn't pay attention to that. That he has broken his fast before I have eaten. And that is an offense. And so Durvasa, he chastises Amrish Maharaj. But is Amrish Maharaj responding? Is he becoming defensive and giving reasoning? No. Amrish Maharaj is keeping his hand folded, his head bowed down in humility, and tears are flowing when he is hearing those harsh words of Durvasa Muni. And at that time, when Durvasa Muni, he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is also known as Rudra, anger personified. So Durvasa Muni, he breaks matlock and throws it on the ground and great demon appears, and he orders this demon to devour Amrish Maharaj. As soon as the demon takes a step towards Amrish Maharaj, something amazing happens. Sudarshan appears. Sudarshan. Darshan means one who reveals. Su is all great things. So Sudarshan is glowing like thousands of suns, and he immediately destroys this, Rakshas, the demon that's being produced by Durvasa Muni. But Sudarshan has another great quality. It doesn't just destroy the immediate threat, but it also destroys the root cause of threat. And who's the root cause of threat in this case? In this case, it is Durvasa Muni. And so it's chasing after Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is seeing that Sudarshan has is going to kill him. So he runs from Sudarshan. He runs to heavenly planets, but Sudarshan is following him everywhere. Sudarshan is the wheel of the Lord. And he is going to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. Nobody can provide him protection. And he's saying to Lord Shiva, I'm your incarnation. You got to protect me. Lord Shiva says, but this is Sudarshan. This is Narayan's Astra. So I'm completely powerless in front of it. He goes all the way to Vaikuntha. Now imagine, Durvasa Muni had so much mystic potency that he could go to Vaikuntha. He asked Lord Narayan to withdraw Sudarshan and spare his life. And what is going on? Lord Narayan says, but I am under the command of my devotee. If you want to ask for forgiveness, if you want to ask for fearlessness and to be saved by Sudarshan, you have to actually go to Amrish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni runs all the way back to Amrish Maharaj. A whole earthly year has passed in this case. Amrish Maharaj has not eaten anything. He is just lamenting about what offense he has done, that this Brahmana was offended. And now when he sees Durvasa Muni coming, he sees, then he eventually gets up again. He's waiting to ask for forgiveness if there is any mistake he may have committed. But Durvasa Muni falls at his feet and he says, please save my life from this Sudarshan. So Amrish Maharaj, he prays to Sudarshan to please spare Durvasa Muni, save Durvasa's life. And the great mystic yogi Durvasa Muni is, he gets up and he glorifies Amrish Maharaj. He glorifies that even though you are a king, even though you are a family man, you are amazing, your qualities are amazing. Because Amrish Maharaj, he is actually going down to Durvasa Muni in that state. He is not saying, oh, see how powerful I am? Sudarshan is, protecting me. He's not doing that. He is simply surrendered, and he is very humble sweet in his speech. Kabir Das, he says, very famous verse, Aisi Bani boliye man ka apa khoye, aur an ko sheetal kare aap hu sheetal hoye. He speaks so sweetly that, one can forget oneself completely, and others will get blessed by hearing such sweet voice, and also the person, his heart will be completely in bliss in a sublime state by speaking in this way. That's why Amrish Maharaj's speech, it's given in extensively described this pastime in Bhagavatam, yes, in summary, but in Padma Puran, Vishnu Puran, it has been elaborately explained as how sweetly Amrish Maharaj is speaking. And Durvasa Muni is completely taken aback. And now he is lamenting, how could he not recognize such a great Vaishnava? So this is the quality of surrender. And what are the 6 limbs of surrender? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has revealed. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya vajanam rakshishyati te vishvaso gopatitve vayanam tatha atmanikshep karpane sadvida sharanagati. Anukulyasya sankalpa. Whatever is favorable to devotional service, one should perform those activities. Pratikulyasya vajanam. And any activity that is pratikul, not favorable to devotional service, one should immediately reject that. Rakshishyati te vishvaso, that Lord will provide us all protection. Gopatitya, that Lord is our protector, He will maintain us. Atmanikshep karpani, and surrender everything for the pleasure of the Lord and always stay meek. So in surrender, meekness, gentle behavior, sweet speaking, always welcoming others, giving all respect to others, not expecting any respect from others. These are the qualities already part of surrender. And when one is surrender, sometimes we see people on the surface, they are surrender. But it is not when you are in good state, your surrender is seen. When you are in tough state, that's when your surrender is truly tested. So here, true surrender is the soil where divine virtues, they take root. And without surrender, knowledge becomes pride. And with surrender, knowledge becomes wisdom. My Guru Maharaj, he would say that when we surrender to Krishna, He decorates us with qualities that even the demigods envy. And this verse very nicely describes that the qualities of demigods, exalted qualities, become manifest in the body of a devotee who is surrendered to the Lord. And surrender is not a weakness. Sometimes people look at surrender, oh, this person has surrendered. No, it is not the war level surrender that one nation is surrendering to another nation. Rather, it is the doorway through which divine strength flows. We have to understand this, that only through surrender, Lord, He's allowing His love to flow, His strength to flow through us. So it is the sign of strength, right? It is important that we must surrender to Krishna because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But sometimes people say, oh, He is so great, so we have to surrender. No, it's not because He is demanding control, because love demands union. So this is reflection of love. Srila Prabhupada used to give this nice story of surrender in a very simple way. So there was Prime Minister Gladstone of UK, and once a delegate comes to meet him, and the secretary has asked the delegate to wait till the Prime Minister is available. And he has been waiting for an hour. So he becomes impatient without paying attention to anyone. He just opens the door. What does he see? That Gladstone is on his hands and legs on the floor. There is a small baby, a toddler, riding on his back. And the boy is saying, hut, hut. And Gladstone is simply walking on his hands and legs like a horse. So what can one make out? One who cannot relate to it would say, oh, Gladstone is, so weak that even a toddler can ride on him, can make him walk. That's not what it is. Is the toddler more qualified than the Prime Minister? No, he's not. Is he more qualified than the delegate who opened the door and is surprised to see Gladstone on his hands and legs on the floor, walking like a horse? No. But there's a different relationship. Difference of relationship comes because delegate has a working relationship, a diplomatic relationship with the Prime Minister. He has a trade exchange. I do this, you do that. That is what is going on. That's what we have with our employers. We give them service and they pay us at the end of the month. And that's a trade exchange that's going on. And most of the life means, again, all the kind of relationship we see at the workplace are based on those principles only. However, the same workplace is completely transformed if everyone is united in their purpose and seeking to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Radha Krishna. And that is the relationship at home. It is the same person, Krishna, who is at home having loving relationship with his family members, which is in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. And when he goes to office, that's like Vaikuntha, where everyone is praying and worshiping him with awe and reverence. Same person at home has a different level of relationship. At work has a different level of relationship. His relationship in the material world, when it comes to the demigods and all, is very serious, very grave. But when it comes to Brajvasis, then just for little sweet, they can even ask Krishna to dance, and he dances very nicely. Just for that love, the loving exchange. And that is because the devotees are fully surrendered, right? So when we surrender our ego, when we surrender our false ego, we give Krishna a space to act through us. This is something very important we have to understand. Bhakti Maharaj said this, that when we are surrendering ourselves, when we are surrendering our love, when we are serving with love, then we are allowing ourselves to be an instrument in the service of the Lord. So we have to take this to our heart, right? The gopis, they surrender in Ras Leela, leaving everything at the sound of Krishna's flute. They weren't reckless, they were realized that nothing exists outside Krishna's will. His will is paramount, and they were ready to give up everything for Krishna's will, for Krishna's pleasure. Let's take the example of Haridas Thakur. He was beaten in 22 marketplaces in 7 markets. But what was he simply praying? Oh Lord, please forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, we also, when we hear this, we are reminded of Jesus Christ. Jesus was praying the same thing when he was getting crucified. He was being crucified by the Romans. So surrender transforms pain into compassion towards all living entities. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would say, when asked to recognize a surrender, so he said he sees everything as Krishna's mercy, even opposition, even bad times. That will look like a bad time, that people would say, oh, this kind of bad time should not happen to us. And Queen Kunti, she's actually praying to the Lord, Kunti's prayers in the first canto, that, my dear Lord, it is very difficult for those who are mad because of their Janmeshwarya Shuta Shiva Edhamana Madhapuman. Mother is the mad. Because of what? Janma, higher birth, Ashwarya, opulences, that they have born or surrounded by aristocratic friends and born in an aristocratic family, a rich family. Shruta, who are very learned, so they become proud. Shibhir, who are very beautiful. So again, these kind of qualities that make you proud, disqualifies you from approaching properly to Lord Krishna. One who is easily satisfied and approached by akinchana gochara, one who has nothing. So this akinchana means, what do we have? Whatever we have received from the Lord. And so realizing this in our actions, when we fully surrender. And that's why in Damodar Leela, we see Yashoda Mai's rope is always 2 inches short, representing that we have to make an endeavor and yet depend on Lord Krishna's mercy. His will is paramount. My dear devotees, sometimes it's very easy to say when you're in comfortable situation, but truly this is tested when we are in tough situations. In the reversals of life, when we are put in a very tough state, then comes the true test, right? Sometimes people have this tendency, they are very impatient. They are always looking for something and they're asking, Krishna, give me patience, but do it fast. So, simple response they get is, Lord is saying, first surrender your timing. You have to surrender that will that is holding you bound. We are not binding Krishna by that. We are binding ourselves. And we devotees, they laugh because we know that Krishna is never late, but we are always early in anxiety. Because of anxiety. Anxiety is also known in Hindi, means we studied this in 8th grade, Chinta. And Chitta is the fire at the time of death. Body is burned in that fire. So that fire that burns the body is Chitta. But Chinta burns us when we are alive. There's just a dot difference. The dot means we are still alive and we are burning. It's anxiety and lamentations. These are the, aspirations and lamentations are the 2 kinds of anxieties that appear in our life. So we have to be very, very surrendered to be saved from this anxiety. Let's look at some of the qualities. What are the qualities of material world? We always talk about this. Dukkhalayama shashvata. It's a place of misery and everything is impermanent. But there are three qualities of the spiritual world. Amritam. So everything is eternal. Nothing dies in spiritual world. Shame, which is everyone is in bliss, supreme bliss. And abhayam, everyone is fearless. Now, when we reflect that in the material world, these are just the opposites we see in the material world. Everything in material world everyone is fearful. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next moment. But those who are surrendered in devotion to the Lord, in love to the Lord for His pleasure, then they don't have any fear. Everyone sees, Lord Krishna is realized even by non-devotees as death personified. Time, I am the devourer of all things. So he is saying, Kalo Asmin. So I am time. So people see is as death personified. But devotees, they will see that form as love, just like a cat is holding a kitten in its mouth. The kitten is resting. I'm in my mother's, jaws. I'm very restful. But the mice, a mouse in a cat's jaws is fearing. That's the difference. That's the difference. At the same time, which looks like an amazing beginning because we'll go back home, to a devotee is very fearful for a non-devotee. So what should we do? Right? How do we surrender? How do we learn to surrender? Well, we can start every morning by mentally offering our plans to Radha Damodar in service to them. So our plans should be dovetailed around their happiness, not our happiness. Yes, sometimes we do half there and half here, but any small effort that we can take, any step that we can take towards Radha Damodar, that will benefit us tremendously. There's a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita. Neha bhikam nashosti pratvayo na vidyate swalpamapasya dharmasya tayate mahato bhayat. Even a small effort done in devotional service does not get destroyed. There is no diminution and there is no loss for one who has engaged in devotional service. Rather, it saves one from the greatest danger in life. So before reacting, we should pause and chant. Krishna, surrender emotion to devotion. And what's the best prayer for devotion? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Replace why me with try me, my Lord. Sometimes, devotees, they're chanting all day the Mahamantra, which means like, please, Lord, give me service. Please, Lord, give me service. And then the service comes, they say, why me? Why are you giving me this service? I never asked for this. Well, you are praying for this. You are asking with your heart. Maybe you're just doing a lip service. But then, instead of saying, why me? We should say, try me, my Lord. Give me an opportunity. Please try me. I want to really serve you for your pleasure. And we should be ready with that moment, right? So we should be ready to practice surrender through service without recognition. That's the important aspect. Sometimes we have seen even people who are very famous, they are doing service to be recognized that, oh, such a person is doing such nice service. Do the service in the background so that nobody notices. And that is the service Krishna notices. So end each day by thanking Krishna for unseen protections that we have not realized, that how he is protecting us all the time. Not just us, even the non-devotees. Yet at the same time, we become grateful. And that's the quality of greatness. Again, one who is great is grateful. And one who is not grateful is a great fool. So we have to understand from that perspective. So, and sometimes people say, what can I have, what can help me understand to surrender better? Well, we have so many prompts that we can think of. Where in my life do I still resist surrender? We should ask ourselves, what is stopping us from surrendering ourselves to Lord Krishna? Surrender doesn't mean that give up our family and all our property and everything and just leave home and go and live in the temple. That's not surrender. That's called escape. Arjuna wanted to escape. He didn't want to fight his own kingsman. He didn't want to fight his own relatives. That's what he was saying. But Krishna says, no. Remember me. Mama smaran yuddhacha. Remember me and fight, Arjuna. He's telling. And what does he say? He says, Nimitramatam bhavya sarvasachi. You are but an instrument in this war. So you should act as my desire, as per my desire, and you will be glorious. You will enjoy riches. But it was not the riches Arjuna was looking for. But yet at the same time, Krishna was giving him a clear direction that you have to act as per my desire. Only then you will be satisfied. Otherwise, infamy is worse than death for a warrior, and you will be completely unsatisfied because you are going against your nature. You're going against the nature, not just as a Kshatriya, but also as a living entity. Jivera Surupaya Krishnera Nitya Das. We are eternal servant of Krishna. And we should ask ourselves, what does full dependence on Krishna look like in my day-to-day? How can I move everything that's in my activities as an offering to Krishna? And when we offer something to Krishna, this is a beautiful analogy that Devi and I were discussing. It's given in the Shastras, so many other references are there, that when love is like the flower, the pride becomes the thorns. So do we want to offer thorns to the Lord, or do we want to offer flowers to the Lord, or do we want to offer some flowers and some thorns? Actually, we should remove that pride aspect, because it is a humble heart that makes Radha Krishna smile, Radha Damodar, they become pleased when we actually surrender our ego, when we actually surrender our pride. And in that mood, we get the true blessings. The true love flows through us. And we should ask ourselves, how can I serve even when things don't go my way? That is a very important aspect. Means when we are engaged in service, not everything is going to go the way we expect it to be. Sometimes it happens that adverse things happen, and sometimes we take that as bad omen. We are not superstitious. We are just devotees. We would do to the best of our ability. Srila Prabhupada used to give this very nice example of a dancer. He was asked by his friend, oh, yesterday you went to dance in this particular program. How was it? The answer said, no, it wasn't good. You know what? The ground was not labeled properly, so I couldn't really dance well. And almost, fell a couple of times. So it was not good. So I stopped in the middle. That's not the mood of a devotee. Devotee would serve whatever be the situation for the pleasure of the Lordship. The focus is on service to the best of one's ability. Lord is not saying how nicely you're serving, but how surrendered are you in your service, how sincere we are in our service, how humble we are in our service, how determined we are. Utsahan nishaya dhairya tat tat karma pravartana sangatyaga satavite sadvir bhakti prasiddhati. In Nectar of Instruction, Updeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami reveals what can really increase our devotional service, strength that we have, the devotional strength. Utsahan with great enthusiasm, Nishyad with great determination, Dhairyat with patience, Tat Tat Karma Pravatana. By following the 9 process of devotional service, Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Achanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Sangatyagat means Atsat Sangatyag, materialistic, gossipers, we should avoid. The women hunters, we should avoid. The materialists who are running after wine, women, and money, we should avoid their company. We should give them company by engaging them in devotional service. And in this way, it will, and following in the footsteps, tat tat kamapadana sangataka satovritte, by following the footsteps of acharyas, by carrying out their instructions, our devotion will increase. And how does Yashoda's example refine strength? That she is able to bind Krishna? Well, that is her love. She did not want Krishna to get hurt while he was running around the house breaking things. She wanted to discipline him. Yet at the same time, Even she was blamed when the two Arjun trees fell. And Nand Baba came and he was like, Krishna is bound and is right in the middle of these two trees. What if the tree would have fallen on him? So immediately releases Krishna from all that, from the rope, from the, the grinding motor he is bound to. And he picks him up. And when Yashoda Mai comes, Krishna is like, she did that. She bound me. So Nand Maharaj is looking at Yashoda, how could you? And now Yashoda Mai's heart is splitting in two because of the cry. Like, my Lalla could have gotten hurt. What could have happened? How could I do that? She's in this mood of like, how could I? She's blaming herself. Ladies have this habit of, always going back and, oh, if I should have done this better, if I should have done that better. But at the same time, Krishna, he agrees to come back to mother's lap and let her love him because he knows her love is filled with unalloyed devotion. That's what U stands for, right? So when surrender ripens, it blossoms into unalloyed devotion. U is for unalloyed devotion. And here we see that this unalloyed devotion, akinchana bhakti, is pure love without any trace of materialistic desires, right? To enjoy oneself. Not karma, not footy work, not jnana or dry speculative knowledge, not yoga, mysticism, through which one can achieve various kind of mystical powers, the 6 kinds, but service offered only for the pleasure of Shri Radha Krishna. That's paramount. Srila Prabhupada, he explains, akinchana means one who has nothing to possess. The devotee thinks, I have nothing except Krishna. That is akinchana bhakti. Because what do we have? The only thing we have is love. Everything else has been provided by the Lord. So if we can offer our love to the Lord, he expects that much more than everything else what others can offer. Everything else that we can even offer. Because in reality, everything is provided by Krishna. So the purity of purpose melts Krishna's heart. It is not the volume of our service, but the motive behind it that attracts Shri Radha Krishna. Now, Krishna is not conquered by austerity or intelligence as we are seeing in this particular verse. He is not conquered by mysticism, but by affection free of selfish calculations. So there is a tendency, people get up in the morning and they have all kind of calculations. Today I'll do this, 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 and I'll have so much. And then I will be so famous, I'll become so rich. That's a demonic mindset. We hear in Bhagavad Gita, divine and demonic tendencies. And the demonic tendency is like, I will become the center of attraction and everyone will praise me and I'll perform some charity, some sacrifice, some austerities, and I'll be glorified for that. That's the mood of a demon. The mood of a devotee is, oh my dear Lord, I am so grateful that you have given me an opportunity to serve you. Because devotional service is a privilege, it is not a right. Karmane vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Lord Krishna says, and this verse is a very nice verse where the people like the first 1/4. Karmane vadhikaraste. You have the right to perform your duty. They don't like the second part, second phrase itself. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You are not entitled to the fruits of your labor. If you say, why would I endeavor in labor if I don't get the fruits? And he also says that don't think yourself to the cause of these fruits or give up the work thinking that if I'm not getting the fruits, why should I work? No, you still have to perform your activities. And activities are performed by mind, body, and words. So this unalloyed, akinchana bhakti is paramount. And Prahlad Maharaj, he's praying to Lord Nrsimhadev. I do not want liberation, my Lord. Let me remain in the material world to serve you and help others remember you. He's personified, he's glorified for his remembrance of Lord Nrsimha. He was always thinking of Lord Nrsimha. And in a favorable mood, anukulya sasanti. So in a favorable way, we should be thinking, even after his father was killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, he was looking, because Prahlad Maharaj, he embodies akinchana bhakti, wanting nothing but to serve. Krishna grants everything to those who want nothing from him. Prahlad Maharaj did not want the kingdom, but Narasimhadev says, no, you will be the Indra for so long duration. And you will rule instead of your father. He didn't want the throne of his father. He actually wanted his father to correct the ways his father was behaving. And the first thing he asks when Lord says, first of all, he says that this is not a business exchange. This is not a trade exchange between you and me, Lord. My Lord. I am a soul surrendered to you. Lord Narasimhadev agrees. Yes, Prahlada, I understand your heart. Your heart is that of a Kinchana Bhakta, who doesn't want anything. But this is what is a father I want to give you. Prahlada Maharaj cannot say no, because this is Lord's desire, his will is paramount. And that should be the mood. And what is Lord Krishna asking us? He's asking us, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tuyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tadham Bhaktya Upritam Ashnami Prayatatmana. 9.26. He's saying, just surrender, give me as an offering with love. Patra, leaf, pushpa, a flower, phala, fruit, toyam, water. He's satisfied by just these things. But when it is offered with love, so love, devotion comes twice. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya parachati, bhaktya. So with devotion. Tadam bhaktya upritam ashnami prayatatmana. And so, from a devotee, he would accept it. He is very clearly identifying that without devotion, even a mountain of gold cannot please Krishna. With love, even a single tulsi leaf conquers his heart. This is Lord Krishna. Sometimes Lord Krishna looks very confusing to the materialists because they can't understand. They're bringing all this great wealth and offering to the Lord, while a devotee who's offering. In this regard, I'm reminded of Lord Buddha. He's an incarnation of Krishna. He was in a village, he had gone, and Ajashatru and many other kings, they come to know that Lord Buddha has come. They bring platters full of gold and fruits and, amazing items, and they make it as an offering. Lord Buddha was just taking it with his, hand, one hand, and he was just passing on to his, indicating to his disciples, and they were taking it all on behalf of Lord Buddha. An old lady comes. She was literally a beggar. She had a fruit. It was pomegranate. Sometimes we hear about jamun also, but this was a pomegranate, and it was eaten. It was already half eaten. And she comes to offer that. Lord Buddha, as soon as he sees that this old lady looks like a beggar is offering him something, he gets up from his seat. Ajashatru and all these kings are shocked, first of all. He never got up when they were offering such big platters of wealth and food stuff. Then Lord Buddha puts both his hands forward and accepts both his hands. Ajashatru, he is saying, my dear Lord, when we offered, you didn't get up from your seat. You just, indicated with your one hand and you kind of like accepted with your one hand. This old lady is giving you an half-eaten pomegranate. And you are accepting it by getting up from your seat with both hands. I don't understand this. Is it an insult of ours? Lord Buddha smiles. He says, no. You all gave me something, but that thing was a small stuff compared to all the wealth that you have. This old woman, when she heard that I have come, all she had was this pomegranate, and she had already bitten into it. But she said, whatever I have belongs to you, my Lord. So it is the mood of love. We are reminded of Shabri's story. It was the love that she was offering, not half-eaten fruit that she was offering to Lord Ramchandra. And Lord Ramchandra was accepting it. And it was not eaten once by Shabri, it was eaten twice. It was eaten once, first time when she had picked it from the tree. Then second time, when she was offering to Lord Ram, she wanted to make sure that it is still sweet. It was sweet when she picked it. Now, is it still sweet? She wanted to make sure of that. That's why she was again taking a bite to make sure, yes, this is sweet. Now I can offer it to the Lord. She was not giving her eaten food. She was never thinking in those aspects. She wanted to make sure that Lord gets the best of the best that she can offer. We have to have that mindset. And so we hear the Lord, he steals things, right? He's known as Makanchur. But the best things he steals for his devotees. We see the example of Gopal, who steals Kshira in the sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. He did not bless him with wealth or fame, but with his personal remembrance. The Lord remembers one who forgets all else for him. What had happened? And when he was being offered Shira and the priest was glorifying, at that time Madhavendra Puri was offered little prasadam and he was thinking, only if I could get some Shira. Actually, he was not offered at this moment. The Bhoga offering was going on. And Madhavendra Puri had this thought that only if I knew how to make it, if I could just taste it, then I would make it for my Gopal also. So this is Gopinath temple at Ramuna. That is happening. And then he says, oh my God, Lord is being offered this bhoga and I thought of eating it, how fallen I am. And Madhavendra Puri, with this thought of lamenting and feeling disgust about his desire to eat what has been offered to the Lord, he left the temple immediately. But Lord Gopinath remembered. So he stole one pot, and in the dream of the priest, he came and said, I have saved one pot of Shira for Madhavendra Puri. Please take it to the marketplace and give it to him. The priest was shocked to see this dream. He picked it up. He saw that, yes, the Lord had saved. He had hidden one pot behind the curtain. And he took this and he was calling out, Madhavendra Puri, where are you? Madhavendra Puri said, yes, here I am. What happened? It's like, Lord has stolen and kept this Shira for you, the pot of milk, sweet milk. And Madhavendra Puri, he immediately accepted it because this is Lord's desire. He understood Lord's heart. Yet at the same time, he did not stay there because he knew that people would glorify him. He had a task to get Chandan for Lord Gopal in Vrindavan. So there is also Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would talk about the milk seller, the milkmaid. She would come every day and she would get late when going to the Brahman's house. And the Brahman would say, you don't have enough devotion. She said, no, I do have. It's just that the boatman was late, is late in the morning. So I have to wait for him because I have to cross the river. He said, if you had devotion, then you could just walk on the water. She took this statement from the Brahmana to her heart. And so one day she came very early. Now this Brahmana said, how could you come so early? Boatman came early. She's like, no. You said I can take Lord's name and I should have enough devotion that I could just walk on water and come here. So he was shocked. So he accepted the milk, but he was watching her going back and he could see her walking on the water. He said, this milkmaid, she could walk on water? So I am a Brahmana, I am much higher personality. I have been serving the Lord all my life. And then with his silk dhoti and kurta, he goes out, and as he takes his step on the water, chapak, it goes in. He's not able to walk because that devotion is missing. He may be performing the rituals, but he's missing out the spirit behind the rituals that she has grasped as a spiritual. So we have to understand that without spirit, spiritual becomes just a ritual. So we have to be very, very careful in our lives. And we take so many examples. The tiny sparrow story that Srila Prabhupada used to talk about. The sparrow's eggs were washed away, and the sparrow was saying, return my eggs. The ocean was saying, you're just a small sparrow, I'm not going to return your eggs. So she said, I will dry you out. The ocean laughed, like, how could a small bird like you, and with a beak, she was taking little water continuously. Seeing her faith, seeing her determination, seeing how she was determined to dry out the ocean, Garud came. And as soon as Garud said, okay, I will, dry you out, ocean returned the eggs. So this is pure devotion, determination born from love, not results. So this sparrow had love towards her unborn children, the eggs. So in this way, we can see that during Kartik we see Mother Yashoda's perseverance. Despite repeated failures, she tried the rope again and again. That repeated effort, born of love, not demand, made Krishna bound. Love without motive has infinite patience. And Gopis offering of lamps during Deepavali in Kartik. The Gopis, they lit lamps not for ritual, but to see the beauty of Krishna's face, his sweet smiling Shyam Sundar's face. Their lamps symbolize pure bhakti, lights offered only for Lord Krishna's pleasure. Sometimes there is a tendency that people, they come to Krishna even for materialistic gain. Well, Krishna sometimes fulfills the demand, but takes the desire away. And that's why people become very scared, right? A man prayed, Krishna, I'll serve you if you give me promotion. Krishna replied, promotion to what? The man said, manager. Krishna laughs, I was thinking of promoting you to Vaikuntha, but you stopped at manager, right? So material ambitions shrink our divine potential. Bhakti's only promotion is to love more purely. So here we can see so many ways that we can look at this akinchana bhakti, the unalloyed devotion that can help us come to that next level. And when we engage in this, so when we look at Damodar Leela, right, what are we really seeing? Are we seeing Krishna? No, we are seeing Yashoda Mai's love. We are seeing how she, with love, is binding Krishna. So that is the radiance of love. And Surah R is for radiance of love. Yet at the same time, when gopis would look at Krishna, they would become more beautiful, looking at the beauty of Krishna's face. And Krishna would be looking at the gopis and he would become more attractive. Krishna means all attractive, but he would become more attractive than before. Srila Prabhupada was sometimes challenged. There was a group of people, atheists, they were going around asking different spiritual leaders, can your God make a stone so heavy that he cannot lift? If he cannot make a stone that he cannot lift, then he is not God. That was the argument. And if he can make a stone that he cannot lift, well, now he cannot lift the rock, so he is not God. So they were just proving that there is no God. Srila Prabhupada was approached twice and he gave different answers both times. First time he said, Lord Krishna, yes, he can make a stone so heavy that he cannot lift, but the next moment he'll have the strength to lift it. Another occasion he said, yes, Krishna can make a stone so heavy that he cannot lift it, but Balaram will lift it. He's Adi Guru, the big brother, right? So in this way, he defeated all those arguments. And similarly, we are not into arguments, but we are into love, the business of love. This is where it's not actually a business, it's a gift that we want to share with everyone, with Krishna being in the center. So we also see in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is talking about the divine mirror. Adveshta Sura Bhutana, Maitra Karunevicha. So one who is non-envious, friendly, and compassionate to all beings. So a pure devotee reflects the Lord's nature. So all these qualities that are being talked in this particular verse are just the qualities of Krishna that he imparts onto his devotees. So as sunlight is reflected in a clean mirror, those qualities appear in the very being of a devotee. We also see during the Kartik, the Dvijpatnis, the wives of the Brahmanas, they were blessed during Kartik. They offered food to Krishna out of pure affection, defying ritual restrictions because this food was prepared for the sacrifice. Their husbands were, or the fathers or sons were performing as Brahmanas. It was their love that made them radiant, while their learned husbands remained in darkness. So the Gopis lamp offering in Diwali is also symbolizing the illumination of virtue. So that's the radiance of love. And with this radiance of love, it helps us come to that level where we can abandon the false ego because we have a higher taste, right? Once you have a higher taste, why would you go for the lower taste? And so we should embrace this heart of service. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, this is where we would like to share and complete today's session, the offering of gems from Srimadbhagavatam, where we just have to love Krishna. What does a child know about the qualities of father? Child only knows that this is my father and I should love him. That should be our mood, right? We know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we are his eternal servants. Jivera Surupa Krishna Nityadas. And what does Father expect from son? Love. Nothing else matters. Whatever it is that has been provided to us is provided to us that we can engage in Lord Krishna's service. Hare Krishna. So this is the message I wanted to share with you. May this month of Kartik invoke the love in all of your hearts so that we can all together love and offer our devotional service to Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Shri Shri Radha Damodar, and win over their happiness, Hare Krishna, so that we all become happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashutu ma kasya dukh bhag bhavet. Let there be peace and happiness all around the world. Hare Krishna. Devi, would you like to add anything?
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So, as always, we all get a lot of points practically in our life, how to cultivate our Krishna consciousness. And like today's verse, I was trying to understand better today how, with the help of this acronym, Sura, right? You talked about how to come to the gradual development of divine qualities, the virtues, with the help of spiritual practices, by abandoning our anarthas, by unalloyed devotion, by the process of surrender. And in this way, we can take baby steps, and also we can we can have hope, taking the inspiration from lives of great souls, the dear devotees of the Lord. And in this holy month, this sacred month of Kartik, any devotional service, any austerity has 1,000 times effect. And it is not just, devotees don't just perform austerities in the month of Kartik. They are always praying to improve. They're always praying to improve and please Guru and Krishna. So at this point, if anybody has any comments or questions, you can quickly present your question or comment before we end the call. Yes, Praladan Prabhuji.
And then Mataji, I was just inquiring whether these recordings are available somewhere so that, I can
Yes, Prabhuji,
read.
recordings are always available. We have YouTube channel, and
Okay.
within a day or two, I post it there, the recording.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that will be good, Mata. I have some group of people here. I'm in Las Vegas, so I can share with them and they can also benefit from this. That was my
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Mata.
You're
Yeah.
welcome to share that. I will send you the link again in case you don't
Okay.
have it.
Okay, thank you, Mata. Very good.
Hare Krishna. I think, Prabhuji, we are 5 minutes past the time. So
Kantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad ki Janant Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Om Tat Sat. Have a wonderful week in Krishna consciousness, and may your Kartik devotion increases for the pleasure of Shri Shri Radha Damodar. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Om.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.